Ever wonder why dieting is like being in a bad relationship? They both start with hope and end with you crying into a tub of ice cream. Oh, the joys of dieting. It's like a perpetual roller coaster ride where the only thing falling faster than your hopes is your blood sugar level. Let's take a moment to talk about the infamous cookie diet. Yes, it's as real as the disappointment in your parents' eyes when you told them you're quitting your job to become a full-time cookie enthusiast. It's the ultimate bait and switch. You're promised a life filled with cookies, but what you get are these flavorless discs that taste like they were baked by someone who's only ever seen a cookie on a Wikipedia page. You start off thinking, this is it, I found the golden ticket, the diet of my dreams. But by day 2, you're starting to suspect that these cookies have less in common with the delicious treats you know and love, and more with cardboard. By day 3, you're questioning your life choices, your sanity, and whether you'll ever taste joy again. You find yourself eyeing the dog's food with a level of interest that is frankly concerning. By day 4, you realize that the only thing these cookies are good for is playing frisbee, and maybe as a makeshift coaster. You're so desperate for flavor that you're considering eating the paper your food used to come wrapped in. By day 5, you're having dreams where you're chased by a giant cookie, and you wake up in a cold sweat screaming, "I just want a salad!" And as you stand at the end of the week, staring into the abyss of your kitchen cupboard, you realize that you're so desperate for something that doesn't taste like disappointment and broken dreams, you would gladly lick ice cream off the sidewalk. And that, my friends, is just the tip of the dieting iceberg. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. We still have a whole smorgasbord of dietary disasters to unpack. So, buckle up because this is going to be a wild ride. Next on the menu, the Paleo diet. Because who doesn't want to eat like a caveman? Ah, the Paleo diet, where the name of the game is to eat like our ancient ancestors. You know, the ones who didn't have the luxury of a microwave or a pizza delivery on speed dial. Sounds fun, right? I mean, who wouldn't want to munch on raw kale and gnaw on a mammoth bone? And let's not forget the parties. You're there with your hunk of elk meat trying to blend in, while everyone else is indulging in those devilish hors d'oeuvres. You glance at the cheese platter, but all you can have is the parsley garnish. It's like being in a candy store where all the candy is made of broccoli. And don't get me started on the life expectancy. Sure, you're eating like a caveman, but remember, those guys usually didn't make it past their 30s. So if you're planning on living beyond the next ice age, you might want to reconsider your diet plan. Now, let's migrate from the Stone Age to the world of citrus. Enter the grapefruit diet. Yes, folks, a diet where you eat grapefruits until you can't see straight. They say it's supposed to help you lose weight, but all it really does is make you develop an intense personal vendetta against all things citrus. I mean, have you ever tried eating grapefruit for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? By day 3, you're seeing the world through rose-tinted glasses. Only the roses are grapefruits and they're haunting your dreams. You start seeing grapefruits everywhere. In the mirror, in your coffee, even your dog starts to look like a giant fluffy grapefruit. And let's not forget the taste. It's like someone took all the bitterness in the world and stuffed it into one round, juicy nightmare. You'll be begging for mercy, but the grapefruit, it just stares back, unblinking, unfeeling. I can't even look at a citrus fruit without getting flashbacks. Then there's the keto diet. Suddenly everyone's a carb detective. Yes, my friends, the keto diet. The quickest way to turn into Sherlock Holmes of the food world. You start seeing carbs in places you never thought possible. You're squinting at your water bottle like, are you hiding carbs in there, H2O? I even started questioning my own existence. Am I a carb? I'd ask myself, staring into the mirror, my eyes filled with existential dread and longing for a bagel. Now, the keto diet does promise some weight loss, and I must confess, it delivered. But not because I was in a state of blissful ketosis. Oh no. It was simply because I spent more time on Google searching, is this keto, than actually consuming anything. But if you think that's wild, let me introduce you to the Cabbage Soup Diet. Yes, you heard it right. Cabbage Soup Diet. It's like someone looked at the fun of dieting and said, you know what this needs? More cabbage soup. So, you start eating cabbage soup. Morning, noon, and night. Breakfast, cabbage soup. Lunch, cabbage soup. Dinner, you guessed it. A piping hot bowl of cabbage soup. Now here's a fun fact they conveniently forget to mention on the Cabbage Soup Diet brochure. You become a walking, talking biohazard. I was like a one-man climate change disaster. My carbon emissions were through the roof. I swear, at one point my loyal golden retriever started giving me this judgmental look, like, really dude? Again with the cabbage soup? I'm pretty sure he was secretly Googling how to put your owner up for adoption. The Cabbage Soup Diet. The only diet where you're equally worried about the ozone layer and your waistline. So, between playing carb detective and single-handedly destroying the environment, dieting sure kept me busy. But hey, who needs a social life when you have cabbage soup, am I right? In conclusion, the keto and cabbage soup diets, 0 out of 10, would not recommend unless you enjoy existential crises and potential abandonment by your pets. Next up, the raw food diet, more like the raw deal diet, am I right? Now this one's a doozy. Picture this. You're at a family barbecue, everyone's chowing down on juicy burgers and sizzling hot dogs, and there you are, gnawing on a raw bell pepper like a deranged rabbit. Every time someone flips a burger, you get this twitch in your eye. It's all raw all the time. Fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, you name it. If it's not straight from Mother Nature's pantry, it's a no-go. And you start to get creative. You find yourself at 2 in the morning, blending up bananas and avocados and calling it ice cream. It's not ice cream, folks, it's a cry for help. And let's not even mention the sushi cravings. You start daydreaming about it, you're in a meeting at work, and instead of seeing your boss, you see a giant talking tuna roll. You shake your head, blink a few times, and it's back to Dave from accounting. Disappointing. Then, there's the no sugar diet. This one starts with optimism. You think, hey, I don't need sugar, I'm sweet enough. But by day 2, you're staring longingly at the frosted donuts in the office break room. By day 3, you're in the grocery store, whispering sweet nothings to a bag of sugar in aisle 5. You start seeing sugar everywhere. You're convinced your neighbor's dog is made of cotton candy. Your dreams are narrated by the Marshmallow Man from Ghostbusters. You can't even watch Mary Poppins without getting a little teary-eyed at the thought of a spoonful of sugar. You know you've hit rock bottom when you're at the coffee shop, and you're eyeing the sugar packets like they're gold bullion. You're imagining a daring heist, diving over the counter, sugar packets flying everywhere. You're the sugar bandit, the sweet-toothed outlaw. You make headlines, local man apprehended in sugar packet scandal. And then you snap back to reality, and you're just a person, standing in front of a coffee shop counter, asking it to love you. By day 3, I was eyeing the sugar packets at the coffee shop, like they were the last drops of water in the desert. And let's not forget about portion control. It's like a plate that says, here's your 3 Ps, enjoy your feast, Henry VIII. Honestly, I'm not sure if they're trying to help us lose weight, or just test our ability to survive on the food equivalent of a thimble. And then there's fasting. Boy, oh boy, fasting is supposed to clear your mind, right? And it does. It clears it of everything except thoughts of food. I mean, who knew that fasting for 24 hours could turn you into a food psychic? I could hear my fridge calling me from the other room. Eat me, it whispered seductively. By hour 23, I was like a desperate contestant on a reality show, ready to eat anything. And when the clock struck midnight, it was like Cinderella in reverse. Instead of a beautiful princess, I turned into a ravenous pumpkin, devouring everything in sight. My fridge was emptier than a politician's promises. In the end, the only thing I lost on these diets was my patience, and maybe my sanity. Yep, that's the dieting reality for you. From cookie catastrophes to caveman cravings, our culinary journey has been a wild ride. We've survived the grapefruit gauntlet and the keto conundrum. We've braved the cabbage soup storm and the raw food rebellion. Remember the no sugar diet? Ah, the sweet, sweet memories, or lack thereof. And let's not forget the sadistic portion control plates making us feel like we're on a perpetual episode of Survivor, and fasting, which turned us into food psychics, hearing the siren call of the refrigerator. So what's the takeaway? Diets may promise you the moon on a stick, but in reality, they're more likely to give you a stick in the eye. But hey, at least we can laugh about it, right? Because let's face it, the only thing getting thinner here are my chances of giving up pizza. Remember, diets come and go, but pizza is forever. Stay happy, stay hungry, and if you ever feel bad about your diet, just remember, somewhere, someone is trying to eat a grapefruit for the 10th day in a row. And that's a wrap on our comedic safari through the wild jungle of diet fads and trends, where the most dangerous predator is a plate of cookies on a juice cleanse day. Don't forget to spill the beans, low carb of course, in the comments about your own hilarious dieting misadventures. Thanks for tuning into the Quirky Chronicle channel, your go-to place for a hearty laugh and questionable dietary advice. Keep it quirky, and remember, the only thing we're serious about here is our commitment to never trust a salad that promises happiness. Stay funny, stay hungry, folks.